So the first one I want to talk about is how the virus spreads in at least the most typical situation that you feel like you could kind of explain to us. And I'll share first my understanding, and then if it's wrong, I want you to tell me. So my understanding is that the virus, most of the time so far, has been shown to spread in crowded indoor places where prolonged contact in close proximity with people has been there. So in other words, if I'm walking by somebody and just pass by them for a few seconds that's infected, I probably am not in danger. But if I sat down and talked with that person in close proximity for 30 minutes or so, then I might be in trouble. Is that a fair way to describe what's going on?
Yeah, I think I like to preface by saying that transmission of infectious disease is complicated. Let
Yes.
me just put it that way. And it's not just COVID; it's really tuberculosis, influenza. It is really a complicated, and I think one of the things in infectious disease that I have a lot of respect for is really fully understanding that it's not just being exposed to the virus. Is it has to do also with how many infectious doses you're being exposed to. It depends also on the host, on not just the host expelling all these viruses in the air, but also the person who's being exposed, their immune system. Are they able to handle it? Are they able to deal with it in a symptomatic or asymptomatic way? And then, of course, the third part is what you kind of alluded to is the environment. How close are you to the person? Is it outdoors? Is it indoors? What's the ventilation system like? And honestly, the person who is infected also varies from in their ability to be infectious. And as you know, you've heard this term super spreaders or super emitters. And it really, I think it would be too simple to say that just because you're infected, you're going to pass it to everybody else. I think we're really understanding that some people are definitely much more efficient at passing it to other people. And it is a respiratory virus. So really, the most efficient way of passing it is goes through the air. That's why it's called a respiratory virus. And yes, I think that you almost need that kind of the elements of perfect storm for this transmission to occur. And certainly, you need to have a person who is capable of passing the virus to other people, whether they're super emitters or super shedders. They need to have enough virus coming out of their, mouth and their, cough or, just talking to get it into the air around them. And then you have to have people who are very susceptible to getting it, catching it. And then, of course, you have to create an environment that can happen efficiently. Again, good example would be outdoors where there's a lot of ventilation and dilution of the outdoor air versus indoors, like you alluded to, where air is relatively stale at times. The ventilation may not be good, and the virus could be hanging around in the air. So, I think it's probably the best thing to do is to admit that this is a complicated transmission. Yeah, so I think that's a great question. I think initially when the outbreak was reported, based on published studies from China, it really kind of looked like the younger people, like especially those less than 18 years of age, were not getting sick like the older people. But if you actually look at the bar graph of people who are getting hospitalized, the rate of hospitalization by, say, decade of age, so like, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and then so on to over 80, 85, you will see that there is a appreciable increase in the number of hospitalizations. I can just see our own hospital. We have a lot of people in their 20s that are hospitalized, and they're really very, very sick. Okay, so we really quickly realized that, yes, if you look at the rate of people need to be hospitalized or wind up very sick, the rate is definitely lower for that younger adult age group, but it actually starts to increase after age 18.